Ballas is an Orcan executive prior to the fall of the Orcan Empire. Suggested to be the lover of Margulis, he's also believed to be the Orcan primarily responsible for the development of transference and the creation of the Warframes. Oh man, this Ballas guy's gotta be crazy strong! I wonder if my fully formed Tigris Prime is even enough to take him on. Oh, well, that was easy. Hello fellow Tenno and welcome to FrameThoughts, where today I will make you question your sense of time, question your relationship with Lotus, and cry manly tears as my prediction was completely shattered by the actual sacrifice quest. You know, the usual. I mean, come on! How was I supposed to know that Umbra was created in the past? But alright, enough of that, let's talk about Warframe's latest cinematic quest, the Sacrifice. Even though its legacy in new in-game material or some sort of focus system has been, well, rather scarce, we did get a ton of lore handed to us that answered so many questions, but also left us with so many new ones. Because of this, I'm going to be splitting this up into 3 different videos, each one talking about some major lore points, and today, we're kicking it off with the Lotus. So up until the Apostasy Prologue, the Lotus has been our most beloved and trustworthy, or not so trustworthy space mob that guides us through all our missions. To the Tenno, she's the one that saved you from Captain 4, the one that provides you with knowledge about the universe and sends you on missions to improve yourself. Honestly, there's like very little reason to doubt her, as she's literally everywhere you are. However, around the second dream we learn that she's actually a sentient named Natah, who was sent out to destroy you, but ultimately did not proceed in doing so because
Natah wanted children of her own.
Later on in the second dream you actually meet her face to face, as he carries you to your transference seat and all is fine again. Or is it? Well, if you haven't played through the Apostasy Prologue of the Sacrifice yet, be warned, as we're now treading into recent spoiler territory. I warned you guys, get out while you can, by clicking this red button first and then that red button. Do not mess up that order, I do want to see you back after you completed the Sacrifice. So if you have completed the Sacrifice, let me preface this by saying, I feel your pain. No, you're not ending on this! How dare you! Steve! I know you said that this was going to be a quest about the Warframe, but you also gave us the Apostasy Prologue, which is a point-by-point teaser for our Lotus quest. So go to that corner and feel ashamed, as I will stand here and long for the truth for about another 19 months. That being said, if you were one of the few people that noticed a Tenno here indicating that this sentient is in fact the true form of Natah, or if you noticed Natah in the very first cutscene, well, good for you. I only figured it out after I'd played through the entire quest and saw the final reveal scene. Now, even though seeing Natah's true sentient form is quite interesting, what got my attention was her role in signing with Ballas. Not only did she save him from your monologue about good and bad, she is the one that we actually see destroying Umbra in the very first scene. But why would you do that? What's her affiliation with Ballas and what does this mean for us? To start off, we need to go to the very first time that we see the Lotus turn on us, which is right here in the Apostasy Prologue, right after her helmet has been disconnected by Ballas. Her changed attitude, the static, and our retrieval of the helmet has led to a lot of people believing this to be a crucial moment in our Lotus switching sides. But what could be so important about the helmet? Well, 4 days before the Sacrifice released, on June 10th, a Reddit user by the name of Protostar Netflix Date posted a theory that caught my attention. The theory goes as follows. The Lotus that we know is actually Margulis, who is controlled in a transference-like way by the sentient Natah via the helmet. She controls Margulis' body because, as a sentient, Natah cannot enter the void and thus could have never hidden away the Tenno and Lua. Also, Margulis was never executed by Ballas, as we haven't seen real proof of that, so by severing the connection to the helmet, Margulis regains consciousness and comes back to him. As interesting as this theory sounds, there are a few problems with it. First and foremost, we learn through the Sacrifice that it's now Natah and not Margulis that Ballas has taken onto his side. But secondly, if Natah was truly controlling Margulis, why didn't she turn on the Tenno before? The argument of wanting children of her own seems to make very little sense as she's literally left us standing there, so what's going on? To explain what's happening, let's go back to the theory, which, to be clear, I did not bring up to bash it. I mean, I can definitely relate with having a slightly wrong sacrifice theory. No, the reason I brought this up is because it's actually bringing us closer to the truth. However, instead of Natah controlling Margulis, the helmet is actually allowing Margulis to be controlling Natah. Sounds weird? Well, let me show you the proof. In the very first scene of the Sacrifice, the helmet is the one that leads us to learn about Umbra's fate. As the voids of Margulis and Natah are nearly similar, we cannot really use that to distinguish one from another. However, ever since Natah has left us, she has not been keen on having us involved. Even when she does show up, it's only to leave as soon as possible without having any decent conversation with us. So why would you want to show us the fate of Umbra? Margulis on the other hand would be far more likely to want to introduce us to Umbra and lead us to the final truth about ourselves. But then, how did she do that when she's supposedly dead? Well, here's the thing. Margulis' spirit is possessing the helmet, a case which I know would be very questionable in our universe, but can happen in the Warframe universe. In fact, Umbra is the living proof of this, as even though we completely rebuilt this Warframe with new parts, the original spirit ends up possessing it. And that's not all. Margulis possessing the helmet explains a lot more, especially why Natah did not kill the Tenno and hasn't switched sides before. As we see in the sacrifice quest, we get to experience Umbra's past for interacting with the Warframe. This isn't just your passive watching of someone's past like a TV show, it's much more than that, as slowly but surely you start to lose sight of what's Umbra and what's you.
He's gonna kill him. Ballas. He's going to kill his son, Isa.
Of course, it is not complete control, but slight adjustments to memory or personality can make a world of difference. Like how slight adjustments to make someone feel a strong motherly instinct may keep them from murdering millions of children and instead get them to care for these kids. It's only once this connection to the helmet is severed that Natah sees reality again and joins Ballas, giving us a full timeline of their past. As Margulis is sentenced to death, Ballas is forced to choose faith over love. This sacrifice is too much for him, motivating him to betray the Orokin. He leaks vital information, such as the location of the Tenno, to Hanau find the Vitruvian. With this information, Hanau sends Natah with a sequence of orders to destroy the Orokin Empire, with the final order being the destruction of the Tenno. However, the Vitruvian is intercepted by Umbra, resulting in Ballas having to transform him as a way of silencing. But as that doesn't work, he and Natah take Umbra out. As Natah follows orders and the Orokin Empire falls, Ballas and Hanau assume everything is completed. However, before Natah can kill the Tenno, she falls under control of Margulis and begins to believe that she needs children of her own, turning her into the Lotus. It's only when Ballas returns and severs Margulis' control that Natah returns to normal and goes back to the Tau system. It's a beautiful and very interesting story, except it isn't true. Or it is, or it isn't. Welcome everyone to the biggest chronological problem in Warframe's history, the destruction of Umbra. This is the scene you're all familiar with. Ballas and Natah taking Umbra out right at the start of the quest. But when does this take place? Here are two of the most prominent theories. Number 1. This scene is happening right now in the present. As you touch the helmet, you experience it in real time through Natah. This is proven by the tileset showing Lua and the operator instructing orders to look for and find recent sentient activity. Number 2. This scene has happened far in the past. As you touch the helmet, you experience an old memory from Natah. This is proven by Umbra's pieces being buried without any signs of being recently disturbed, and orders noting that the artifacts are ancient and predating anything from your arsenal. So then, which one is it? Well, to tell you the truth, it could be either one. I mean, the evidence is so shallow with both relying on just one line of dialogue and the layout of the same tileset that I cannot say for sure. However, it is very important that we find the truth, as if this scene happened in the past, it proves that Natah sided with Ballas long before we came into the picture, and that the theory of Margulis influencing Natah to become the Lotus holds up. But if this happens in the present, we cannot say anything about Natah's past, leaving the question of whether Natah truly had her own motherly feelings or not up for speculation without any proof. And that's pretty much where it stands. I wish I could have left you with an answer, but I think that this is something that we need to figure out together. So let me know what you think. Is this happening now, or did this happen in the past? And let me know why you think that. I'd love to hear your take on it. Until then, we are again, well, proving that a lot.